G'day, and welcome back to the 40 channel. So today we're going to do a quick tip, and it's how to restore all your knobs. It's how to restore all your switches so they look like they're brand new again. So over time they all fade, all the colouring all disappears. They also start to get a bit of sun damage, which just makes them also go there with that white pasty sort of colour on top. My dash console, I've painted it all black. This is the original one actually out of it. It is in perfect condition, but the one I had there had holes and rust, and I cleaned it all up, fixed it all up, painted it black, just to give it a bit more of a different look. And it's bush ready, that one. To make it easier to show you how everything comes apart, I'm going to show you how to pull all your dash switches out off this one and your little pocket as well. Let's get straight into it. Righto, there's a couple things you're going to need straight off the bat. You need some Chemtools R1. Now you're going to need that to undo the rusted nuts that have been sitting around there for a long time. The other thing you're going to need is some Chemtools R22. This is an industrial cleaner and degreaser, but it doesn't have any of those really harsh chemicals that are going to really hurt you. So really good stuff. We'll get in and clean all that gunk out of there, ready for prepping. The other things you're going to need are some of those paint pens. The smaller the better. A fine detailed Phillips head screwdriver and a scraper. Right, let's start with the knob. So to remove the knob, all you need to do is underneath the knob is a small Phillips head screw, like a little tiny grub screw. First thing you're going to do is give it a good hit with some R1. Righto, just let that soak in there. Righto, now to take it out, right on the bottom there, we've got our Phillips head screw. So we can just get in there and we can just unscrew that. Now you don't need to come out all the way, because all that's doing is just holding it in place. Now you've done that, unscrew the switch. And that's it. The knob is off, done. Sometimes this little tiny screw can be really rusted in place. Just give it a really good soak. And the best thing to do is with the Phillips head screwdriver, just slowly work it backwards and forwards until you start to slowly get it undone. Now the knob's off, now we need our R22. So we're going to give this a really good soak with some R22. You can also get this in an aerosol, which looks like this. Now as that's soaking, the next thing we need to do is get our little scraper. And right in where all the detail is, so this one here is the window wiper washer switch, just scratch deep into those grooves. Get right in there and really work it around. It's going to work that R22 in there, as well as clean all that gunk and rubbish out of there. Next thing you want to do is just get like a little Scotch-Brite pad and just give it a really good scrub. Do the back of the knob as well. Then again, come back, give a little scraper. You might need to do this a few times just to make sure you get everything out and clean it right up. Just with a clean rag, give it a really good wipe off again. You can see all that dirt that's coming out of it. For ones that have a little bit of paint left in them from the original, you're just going to need to get in there and scrape all that paint out. These things here are really a thing of the past, the old cigarette one. These ones are quite rare because a lot of people that didn't smoke ended up pulling them out and using it as their power supply, and these just got thrown away. So it's pretty rare to have this. Not that I'm a smoker or anything like that, but it's It's nice to hang on to one of these for the authenticity. With the paint pen, what we're actually going to start to do, if I can film this right, just going to fill in each fan piece to begin with. You can even use your scraper again, just sort of help push that paint into those areas. If you need more paint, just get the paint pen and just tap it right in the center of it. Righto, so that's just the preliminary. You're going to let that dry, and then we're going to give it a quick clean over on the top, and you'll see how it turns out. If you don't have the same patience, we're actually going to do something a little bit different. Draw in and fill all those lines. It looks like we're making a bit of a mess, but you'll see what we're going to do. So we're making sure that the paint is in all those grooves. And we're going to let that dry, and we'll give that a clean off, and I'll show you how that works out too. Alright, while we're waiting for them to dry, you can remove this if it's on the carb. We're going to leave it on the glove box because we've already got the whole glove box fascia off. So again, we're going to give that a soak with some R22. We're going to scratch out all our areas. So again, we're pushing that paint pen into all that groove. That's had a little bit of time to sit. As you can see, it's not very amazing looking at the moment. What we're going to do now is going to rub that back with just a disposable cloth. Just following the contour of these. You can just start to see what's happening. Start to take away the outside and leave what was the inside. So we'll keep working at that. Look at that. A little bit more rubbing, but we're pretty much there. Now remember what it would look like before, you couldn't even see any of that. Now you can see all the detail of the wiper, the little the wiper arm, the window, and the washer. It's come up really, really nice. So I'll give that a little bit more of a rub, and that'll be done, and we'll show you how it'll come up on all the others, exactly the same process. Works better if you put it on a hard surface. We're nearly there. A little bit more and we've got it. The last little bit, we'll just try to rub it away with our cloth. Now if you do get any bits that are a little bit stubborn, or you've got a little crack or something, you can use a small little razor blade and just very, very carefully, and I mean carefully, really lightly, you can just scrape over it. You don't want to go too much because it'll actually dull up the surface again. There you have it, pocket. Now you want to make sure it's dry, because if you wipe it while it's still wet, it'll actually wipe the whole lot out. So you don't want to do that. There's our window wiper, our little fan. Now we've just got to work on our cigarette lighter. You can actually see better with the red how it actually starts to pull it all off. Righto, so there you have it. It's pretty straightforward, just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, but it'll come up absolutely awesome. Now I know you're going to ask what this is. It's just a disposable rag that you can buy from most hardware or industrial shops. It's very thick and actually has a rough texture on it, so you don't want to get anything that's too smooth. If you use sheet or cotton, when you wipe over it, especially if it's still wet, it'll wipe the whole lot out of it and you'll be left with nothing. Now don't panic, because if you wipe it off and it's wiped out too much, just do exactly the same process. Repeat the process again, put your paint pen on, dab it on, fill all those spots up, and the end result is pretty awesome. Right, so that was a request that someone threw up. They wanted to see how to fix these knobs up and make them come up pretty nicely. So there you go, that's how I do it. There might be other ways, but I've always found this works really well. Now the paint pens you want to make sure that they're oil-based paint pens. You can get water-based paint pens. I have used them before, but they just don't seem to give that same vibrant colour of the red and the white. So make sure you get the oil-based one, and I think it'll last a bit longer as well. Righto guys, that's it. So feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, keep following up, and until next time, take care of yourselves.